This drone made me feel like a Jedi. No Jedi training required though. I just wave my hand and like an obedient little droid, it follows. It cost way less than a professional FPV setup, weighs basically nothing, and somehow survived the countless times I full sent this thing into the ground. This is the DJI Neo 2. And it is quite possibly the most user-friendly and easiest to fly drone I have ever used. Today, I'm going to walk you through what's new, all of its different clever modes, why the FPV goggles and motion controller are a little bit of a cheat code into getting into FPV, and why this little guy has earned a permanent place in my backpack. Let's start off with the basics though. The Neo 2 comes in at around 151 grams with the additional receiver. You can purchase the drone without it, but quite honestly, if you're going to be buying the Neo 2, you may as well drop the extra money because it unlocks a few different ways to fly, which we'll talk about later. You get the same half-inch camera sensor that was on the original Neo, but they've somehow managed to supercharge it. It can now shoot in up to 4K 100 FPS, and quite frankly, it looks night and day difference in terms of the pictures and the video quality. It has improved tracking and obstacle avoidance, and a really interesting way to fly it, which is the main reason that I purchased it. Perhaps the most important thing about the Neo 2 though, is you don't have to remortgage your house in order to buy it. It starts at just £210 for the drone and a single battery. That is about £50 more than the original Neo, but you get so much more drone for your money. I honestly still think this is the best deal that you'll find in drones flying right now. Let's get the Jedi mind control out of the way first though. This thing does come with full autonomous flying for follow modes, but you can also control it with just using your hand. Holding your hand out in front of you so that the drone sees it, you'll see a light light up on the drone. From that point, you can take it left, right, up and down, and you can also use two hands to push it further away from you and closer. Flying drones really has never been as simple as it was when I was just using this thing with my hands. And when it comes to landing, all you need to do is stick your hand under the bottom of it and it will land safely into it. Honestly, this is one of the only drones where I've managed to basically just leave the controllers in my bag and fly this thing just from my hands. Before we get into talking any more about the Neo 2 though, I do just want to say that if this is the first time that you're seeing my face on your screen, then one, lucky you, and two, go down there and hit that subscribe button. I'm in a subscriber battle right now with Poco Global. We're trying to reach and surpass them by my birthday next year. So every single subscribe really does help. Anyway, let's get back on to talking about the drone. Let's take a quick tour of the actual hardware, because you actually get quite a few physical buttons on it now to enable you to fly this thing without your phone or additional controllers. You've got the takeoff button, and you've got two buttons that can switch both the mode and how it will fly. For example, setting it to helix and then deciding how big that helix will be, 1, 5 and 10 meters. It was really surprising to me just how intuitive it was to fly this thing without even having to connect it to my phone. Just hold the drone out on my palm, set the mode that I want, press the button and it goes. It really is that simple. Taking a tour of the drone, on the front are the two biggest changes to the Neo 2. Which actually completely change how this thing flies. On the right hand side, you have the brand new LiDAR sensor. This is basically there for advanced obstacle avoidance, and it is incredible. It means that I could leave this thing in the follow me mode and let it autonomously fly, and I wasn't continually worrying about it hitting a tree, somebody, or something. On the left hand side, we have that front facing display. This basically does everything that the original Neo did on the smartphone. It let you easily see which mode you were in and change a few key settings which you spoke about earlier, like the helix. Going back to that camera, there is one upgrade here, and that is that the Neo 2 now has 2-axis stabilization. The original Neo only had one, and then it used optical image stabilization to basically try to make it as smooth as possible. And that meant that it cropped into the image quite a lot, so the image quality did drop quite significantly. Essentially, the Neo 2's cameras look smoother than ever, and they look better than ever. I'll try and get some side-by-side comparison shots of similar environments that I've had with my Neo and Neo 2, and hopefully you'll see the difference almost instantly. Now, let's move on to why I think this is a beginner drone powerhouse. There are actually 5 different ways that you can fly this drone. We've already talked about the first one, and that is the full autonomy mode, that follow me mode and a few of the quick shots. You can fly it from your smartphone, so you have virtual joysticks And you can also set off some of those quick shot modes. Traditional RC remotes are also supported here if you want to fly it a little bit more like a DJI Mini. There's also the FPV motion controller, which is the bundle that I bought here. And of course, you have the full manual FPV mode. This is where the Neo 2 gets really interesting and actually super fun to fly. It is really rare to see a sub 250 gram drone with this much versatility in the way that you can fly it. But let's move on to talking about why that motion controller makes FPV almost a little bit too easy. Honestly, it's the part that surprised me the most about the Neo 2. FPV is normally expensive, fiddly, and anxiety-inducing. It almost requires learning a whole new skill set. People will sink hours into FPV drone simulators on PC just to get good enough and confident enough to fly the real thing without crashing it into the ground and breaking it. But with the motion controller, things just feel intuitive. It is so easy to fly, it's scary. Point the controller out in front of you and pull the trigger. When you want to turn, all you need to do is twist your wrist. Flying upwards and downwards, just twist it again. It really is that simple. And within about a minute or two of flying this thing, I was pulling off some pretty complex maneuvers and flying through some pretty tiny gaps. You get that swoopy FPV feeling without having to go through all of the training of learning full acro mode. For beginners, this is an absolute game changer. Also for creators, this is a really easy way to be able to get some of those really dynamic and fun FPV shots without having to learn a whole new skill. For me, it just meant that I could fly really low to the ground and have a lot of fun doing it. Honestly, I don't think a drone has made me smile just as much as this guy did. Now, if you do want to go full acro mode and really push this drone, then you absolutely can, but don't expect it to be a powerhouse. Certain maneuvers you just won't be able to do because the drone is just simply not powerful enough. At least not yet. What I found really interesting though was when flying in FPV mode with that motion controller, a lot of the sensors did also still work. So it meant that it could try to avoid and break out of situations that it thinks are dangerous or it won't get through. This was good for beginners, but it quickly became a limitation for me when I was trying to fly it through gaps that it might have just been a little bit too big for. You can turn that off and even enable sport mode, meaning that it will get a lot quicker and it automatically disables all of those sensors. But that leads me on to durability. I really did put the Neo 2 through a lot of pain, flying it into basically everything that I could see. The ground, trees, buildings, and it didn't just survive, it kind of just shrugged it off. The prop guards definitely helped, but the lower weight helped even more. The build quality here is surprisingly solid. Sure, it's all plastic, but it kind of just bounced off of everything. For a drone that's marketed at beginners, this kind of thing matters. Let's quickly talk about battery life, because it isn't great. Now, essentially, the batteries are slightly bigger than you get on the Neo 1, but the Neo 2 is more powerful. So I was finding that I was getting between 11 and 12 minutes of flight time per battery. This isn't great when you come from something like the DJI Mini series and even the Mavics, but honestly, this still felt like a good amount of time for FPV flight and usage. This thing is fast too. It's much faster than the Neo 1, and when you're flying with the goggles on, it feels a lot faster than it perhaps is. That's just because you've got that FPV perspective. When it comes to the full automation modes, that follow me mode can follow you at up to 12 meters a second. That is actually really fast. Now, it says that it can track both cycling, skiing, and people. I did find that it could also track vehicles, it's just obviously you couldn't drive too fast. Master shots basically take in a few different quick shots and turn it into a little cinematic masterpiece. It's fun, but I didn't find myself using it too much. The dolly zoom is a fun feature, but the one that I ended up using the most was its selfie mode. Basically, the drone would take off from your hand and go to 3 different angles taking photos. It felt like having an automated cameraman, and I actually really liked some of the photos that it managed to produce. It was a fun way to get those engaging pictures for your social media. If you already have a Neo 1, here's a quick summary of what's new and why I think the Neo 2 is a worthwhile upgrade. The gimbal's better, and I mean way better. The camera is brighter and clearer. The tracking is faster. The sensors are improved massively. Storage is doubled here as well. There is no way to add a microSD card to the drone itself, but you've got enough internal storage here to last a couple of flights. It works with the FPV goggles, motion controller, and the full manual modes, and the optional module gives you that 0.4 range and low latency. This doesn't feel like a small upgrade. This genuinely does feel like a generational leap forwards. So who exactly is the Neo 2 for? If you want a small, safe, confidence-boosting drone that can capture some really engaging video and photos, this is the guy for you. If you're already deep into the world of FPV, both with the Avata series or proper FPV drones, this is still a fun little sidekick for a quick 5-minute flight. And if you're looking to upgrade from the Neo 1, that's not even a question. This is genuinely the biggest upgrade I think I've ever seen, and I can highly recommend it. So there we have it, guys. That has been my review of the DJI Neo 2. It is an absolutely incredible drone with a ton of different and fun flying modes. In particular, those FPV ones that just had me smiling the whole time. Sure, the battery life could be a little bit better, but honestly, for its price point, I don't think you can beat it. Anyway, guys, why don't you let me know what you think of the Neo 2 in the comment section down below. And while you're down there as well, let me know if there are things that you want me to test with this drone. I will happily do it. Any excuse to go out and fly this thing, I will take. Of course, while you're down there, get subscribed as well, because we are so close to hitting that subscriber goal with Poco Global. Anyway, my name's been Robert. This has been Bite Sized Clue, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.